Yeah, now. Thank
Great.
you.
Okay, so thanks, Selin, for the invitation to speak to you today. I'm not going to speak for too long, so I won't keep you all for too long. But what I hope to do is give a few slides at the beginning to introduce the Behaviour Forum, and then I will try to just do a quick live demo. I think that's the best way to sort of show some of the possibilities. And then I'll, of course, take your questions or any queries you have. Also, if you might get the chance to actually sign up for it while we're talking as well. So another thing I think is useful, because I know the cost action SABV is at its beginning, is just, I guess the forum gives a good example of the sorts of outcomes that you can have from one of these cost actions. We didn't have the forum planned at the beginning of the TEATIME cost action, but over time with our discussions, it became clear that we wanted to make something like this, and it became, I think, one of our sort of important deliverables. So it's also an opportunity to think about what sort of exciting new initiatives or opportunities this new cost action might offer you. So I mentioned that, sorry, I'm just trying to, there we go. I mentioned that this Behaviour Forum came out of another cost action. Now I see on the call that there are a number of people who are actually involved in TEATIME. Maybe many of you heard of it in some ways, but this was a cost action that just finished at the end of last year and was focused on home cage monitoring, particularly of rodents, although we had a number of other species there. And the website is still up if you want more information about that cost action and all the other things we did. I encourage you to go and look at it at cost-teatime.org. Now, in some of our first working group meetings, we started to work out, or a few of us got together and decided that we thought that maybe creating a forum of some kind would be useful. At first, we had a Teams channel and we sort of created a forum on that was visible to members of TEATIME. But a number of us realized that it could be useful to actually have a forum that was available for everybody and all researchers. And this might be some sort of lasting contribution to the community that we could make. So at the moment when we were thinking of it, there were not really any arenas to discuss animal behavior experiments. We all know that the normal way that you often find out how to do an experiment is you have to send emails to people and hope they reply if you read something in the methods of a paper, or you see somebody at a poster at a conference and you get to ask them the details that don't make it into the paper. But we thought that there could be a more efficient way of going about this. And maybe some of you have also experienced the situation when you've actually done the experiment before you meet the person at the poster who tells you, oh, if you'd have just had these extra tips and tricks, then maybe your experiment would have worked better. So we thought having somewhere that could sort of keep this information, that acts as a repository for this information for the future, could be really useful. And this is where the forum came from. Now, we based it on a forum called image.sc, which is a forum where you can ask lots of things about image analysis. So for anybody that's done histology and worked with programs like ImageJ, image.sc will give you lots and lots of information about how to do these sorts of things. And we thought that what we really needed was something like that, but for animal behavior. And we thought this could be useful for scientists, for animal care staff, and for commercial representatives of companies, you know, such as Noldus or Anymaze or these other companies that make this equipment, and that by having all these people involved, we could get better scientific outcomes, improve welfare, and also just speed up and make science more efficient. And so, luckily, this idea of a forum also linked into some of the objectives and deliverables that we had as part of TEATIME. So in particular, we had this objective to develop new lasting forums to bridge behavioral and data science and achieve breakthroughs in the integration and analysis of complex data sets. So this was one objective that we were able to meet by creating this forum, as well as several others. Now, if you go to the Behaviour Forum, if you just type in www.thebehaviourforum.org, it will take you to a page that looks like this, a sign-in page. And so we do require for the forum that users sign up. We had lots of discussions over whether it should be open or require a sign-up. And because of issues, because animal experiments are somewhat sensitive, and to protect the privacy of users, we require you to sign up. But you can sign up with any email address and with an alias, and these details don't have to be shared with other participants. Once you've signed up, you'll see a screen that looks somewhat like this. So the forum is based on a really well-established open source community forum platform called Discourse. And this has made it really easy for us to set this up, and it gives us a lot of flexibility over how we run the forum. You can see here, and I'll go into this in more detail when I give a tour, but you can see that we have a number of these categories, things like forum announcements, community news, a space for guides and protocols, job opportunities, etc. And then an important one to focus on, and the one where you see most of the activity is this questions and answers, where people can ask questions about the experiments they're doing, about their design, about the practical elements when they're running it, but also about the more philosophical ideas, right? What do these behavioral measures mean? Which, as behavioral scientists, this is often a really key part of interpreting our experiments. If we look into the the questions and answers category in more detail, you can see we've split it up into some different sorts of subcategories. And you can delve into these and find lots of questions that we've already asked. Just as an example of what it looks like with a question, here's a question by Marion, who's one of the founders of the forum from TEATIME. Let's see if I can get this to work. 1 second. And Marion asks a question and everybody can reply. We get these sort of very high quality replies from the community. And again, this isn't just an email thread between Marion, Davor, and some others. This is now a question that will exist on the forum that all of us can go back and check if we start a project involving body temperature fluctuations in mice. And I'll show you when I do the tour again, ways in which this is very easily searchable. So as part of trying to promote the forum and also use some of the extra capabilities of this discourse platform, we've started running a series of webinars or workshops called the Behaviour Forum series, in which various researchers have been invited and have given presentations. Now, to enhance these, and again, to capture some of the answers to those questions, we allow people to post questions to the speaker on the forum before and during the presentation. And then afterwards, in fact, you can continue the discussion with the researchers on the forum. So it's just our way of trying to sort of drive more sign-ups, more business to the forum, and really making things like a live conversation. So about a month ago, we had Balma Serrano give a really excellent talk on this training village that she has devised for testing rodents in cognitive tasks. And then just last week, we had one by Nicolas Simpalazzi on movement Python toolbox for analyzing motion tracking data. So these are coming up somewhat infrequently, but we're trying to get them every month or two. The next one, actually, as Vitelli posted about, will be in 2 weeks' time on April the 23rd, when we have Michelle Gigax talking about refined housing for laboratory mice. So I really encourage you all to try to come to these if you can, and to engage with them. We also record them, so they're available as webinars afterwards. And here's just an example. I showed you this one question about body fluctuations, but we have lots of a really wide variety of different questions about behavior or adjacent to behavior. So some are related to animal welfare, like this one, housing a male mice, what is the best solution? This was a really good sort of debate about things you can do to reduce fighting and aggression in male mice. This is an interesting one, I think, novel object recognition, arena size and distance between objects. This, again, is something that you might find some information in the methods of papers about this, but you don't really get a sophisticated understanding of why the arena should be a certain size until you start to talk to people who may have tried lots and lots of things before coming up with something that works. You know, these considerations we all know are vital to animal behavior. And it's really nice to have these conversations captured here and not just occurring at somebody's poster at a conference. White noise during mouse behavior testing, another, you know, I think sort of key element that's often overlooked in methods sections. And then again, an example of some of these sort of community news protocols where people can also, if you develop some tool or technique, you also have somewhere where you can post about it and sort of let the community know about it. This is just a quick heat map I made this morning to show where our users come from. So you can see that we're concentrated in Europe, which is maybe not a surprise, being as the cost actions that we arose from was based in Europe. But you can see that we've got pretty good coverage across most of the world now. This represents... Hi? Sorry. I heard something. This represents about almost 1,500 users at this point. We're showing steady growth, but we really like to take opportunities to sort of supercharge this whenever possible by, say, presenting at conferences or by doing talks like this one today. So please sign up, tell your friends about it. And also, importantly, when you do sign up, try and remember it's there and engage with it. We especially want to encourage more junior researchers to not feel nervous and things about asking questions there. There are no, as we know in science, there are no silly questions, really. And there's a good group of people there who can help to answer questions. This is my last slide. I just want to acknowledge, I hope most of the people who have, at least on the moderation and organization team at the moment, but also we're always looking for new members and support. So if you sign up and you're interested in what we're doing, then please reach out to either myself or somebody else on the moderation team at the forum and say, I'd like to be involved. Is there some way I can help? At the moment, we have some subgroups devoted to different aspects of running the forum. So there's a subgroup involved in promoting it. This is doing things like posting on LinkedIn and Blue Sky, or organizing these workshops, as well as thinking of ways we can promote this at conferences. Then we also have a subgroup devoted to sort of how we can organize the forum better and maintain it for the future. We have some social media accounts here where we try to post. And with that, that's my last slide. So what I would like to do now is to pause here in case there are any immediate questions. And then after that, I'll go in and I'll just give you a quick tour where I can click on some things and show you some of the features. So any immediate questions? Okay.
I think
In
we have
that
no
case,
questions. Yeah, we have
yeah.
no questions right now, Jamie. You can go ahead, I think.
Great. So let me share a different screen. Okay, so now you should all see the forum as it would look to a new user. So, I mean, it's fairly straightforward, especially for anybody that's used these sorts of message forums before. But you can see these are the different categories. And if I was to delve into a category, say the questions and answers category again, maybe I'm interested in something to do with experimental design, and you can sort of scroll through these different questions and sort of look at them in more detail. I mean, this is all quite straightforward, but you know, we find the level of discussion to be actually really, really useful and really interesting. I think you can get a lot out of the forum just by reading these posts, as well as by, even if you're not an active contributor. Lurkers at the forum are also welcome. And I think the more people that start contributing, the more we will build up a wealth of expertise to answer lots of these different questions. So I think questions and answers is fairly straightforward. I'll just see if I can find any. You know, we had somebody wanting a call out for people working with people in South America. Help finding an old French paper. Somebody was trying to track down a paper from 1996 and was and came to the forum for help. And then some for making your own food pellets. So you can see a wide variety of these sort of practical questions that might be quite difficult to know where to go for help. Dyes for dark fur mice, if you're trying to sort of identify your mice in a behavioral arena, but you've got some C57 Black 6, what do you do? And so there was a good sort of discussion about that here, right? So it doesn't have to be questions like, what is the meaning of life? It could be something like that, but it can be these real practical questions that you might need help with. So as well as these, I'll just show you a couple of things. So one way that we've been trying to organize the material is using these tags. So the tags mean that we don't have to have everything hierarchically arranged. So it might be difficult to know, say if we had tags for different things, but your experiment fitted into both categories and you didn't know where to put it. We want to make people not have to think about what category really should fit them best. And we can do this by adding different tags to them. This also is a good way of finding things that relate to something you might be interested in. So, for example, if you're interested in ultrasonic vocalizations, you can find all these posts have been tagged as ultrasonic vocalization. You might be interested in deep lab cut for behavioral tracking. So you can click the tag and find everything that's been tagged with deep lab cut. And this can be an easy way for us to organize the data. Also, every so often, the maintenance group go through and add tags to people's posts where they don't have them. So we can add these post hoc. You also have a search up here, so you can search for anything. You could search for anxiety here. If I could spell it correctly. And then you can find all posts that involved anxiety. You can also search for people. So I can search for Selin and find her as another user. And then I can see topics that Selina's contributed to, but I can also send her a message. And so you can, I have to put. So you can also use it as a way to actually needs to be at least 10 characters, apparently. I don't use this very much. I'm not sure whether it's it will be useful, but it could be a nice way for you to sort of also contact people in the community. And you can get messages, and you can see your posts, you can draft posts. We have some guidelines with rules, etc. on there that it's worth looking at. They're fairly simple. Be polite. Don't, if you're representing a commercial supplier, then we have some special rules that people shouldn't just come and tell everybody that their system is the best and the other ones are crap and that they should only buy one of them. They have to sort of abide by our guidelines. But overall, I think you can see that it's fairly straightforward, fairly easy to use. And yeah, I hope many of you sign up. So that was everything I wanted to say. Does anybody have any questions now? I will just stop sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. It's a really beneficial presentation for our community. Is there any questions or comments on it?
Really nice work. We're gonna use it.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. I expect to see a nice little spike in sign-ups after today, and then I will have done my job. Yeah, anything you can do to sort of promote it to people at other conferences, we would be very appreciative. If you even wanted to go one step further, you could reach out to us and we might be able to sort of send you a bunch of flyers and things like that. The promotion group especially is looking for ways to try to get the word out more generally. So yeah. It's been going, I should say now, we officially started in July 2024. So it's been almost 2 years now. Maybe we should do something for our 2-year anniversary. That will be, I guess, will coincide with FENS in Barcelona. So we could think about that.
Yeah, again, thanks a lot, Jamie, for all effort with you and also the rest of the team, and also you give your time from your schedule. Is there any question or comment? Because our meeting is a limited version, 3 minutes later it is going to shut down. Okay, thanks a lot for today, Jamie.
No
Again,
problem, my pleasure.
Yeah, I am also going to share the recording, so maybe you can share with your colleagues in your institute, or I don't know, in your department, or who is interested in behavioral data. So we are trying our best to disseminate this forum, because you know it's a very huge outcome of the cost time. Again, thanks a lot for all of this. Have a nice day for everyone. Jamie.
Thank you.
Yeah, Veronica, thank you. Yeah, Veronica said it was a really nice presentation. Thank you for listening.
Right.
Yeah, have a nice day.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.